Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Thank you for your company. Our top story, a historic day for Barrow as the King confers royal status in recognition of its critical contribution to national defence.
It's absolutely wonderful him coming to town. Absolutely super.
It's an honour, an absolute honour for the town, and it'd be lovely to see him as well.
The King was also in the Royal Port to commission submarine HMS Agamemnon into service. Also tonight, the Southport inquiry. Here's the taxi driver who picked up the killer waited 50 minutes before calling the police. Ian calls it his terminal illness challenge. The Cumbrian man climbing all 214 Wainwrights to help others living with cancer.
The Bank of Dave.
Yeah, it's catchy, very catchy.
But will
Customers
the
were having
songs
problems
be,
making
after
payments,
taking the
so
small screen
started
by
lending them
storm,
your money.
can
This
Bank
isn't
of
about
Dave
me
the
making
musical
money. Every
take
single penny
Burnley
of
to
profit
Broadway?
goes straight.
Weather-wise, as we head through the autumn equinox, things are pretty settled due to high pressure. Join me shortly for the full Northwest forecast.
The King was in Barrow today to officially confer the title of the Royal Port of Barrow on the area around the town's docks. Thousands of people turned out as King Charles came to read the commissioning warrant for HMS Agamemnon, the latest of the Royal Navy's nuclear-powered submarines. Barrow's been making subs for 120 years, as Kelly Foran reports.
Here comes the sun. It seemed an appropriate choice of song as the bunting sparkled in the blue skies of Barrow today as the town came out to greet the King.
You don't see the King here every day, do you?
It's absolutely wonderful him coming to town. Absolutely super.
It's an honour, an absolute honour for the town, and it'd be lovely to see him as well.
Barrow is home to the BAE Systems shipyard where the UK's nuclear-powered submarines are built. After a visit there, the King went to a careers hub, meeting local charities and community groups. Then, spending time with the people who'd been waiting for hours to see the King in what is a historic day for the town.
It's a great day for Barrow. We're a proud British town, and I hope that the King appreciates our sunny weather.
As soon as the King arrived, he was drawn to one of the youngest people in the crowd.
The King was great. He came over, tickled him under his chin and had a little laugh with him. My boy reacted, which made the King laugh, which was quite nice.
Absolutely great. The sun's shining, and it was lovely to see His Majesty.
I just got my dream. I just want Catherine and William now, and then I'll be happy.
The crowds were delighted with their royal visitor, especially the ones who got the day off school.
You've got to get back to school now. But you escaped the rest of the day.
He said it was a good excuse to get out of school.
Is that right? Is that a good excuse?
Yeah.
What, are you going to go home and tell your family what you did today?
Shook the King's hand.
His Majesty gave the Port of Barrow its new title.
I'd like now to invite His Majesty to unveil the letters patent, officially marking the town's royal port status.
Port of Barrow, how does that sound to you?
Oh, it's amazing because again, His Majesty coming today. You've seen the response from the public. It will give them a boost.
Becoming a royal port was the idea of a former BAE worker who suggested it to his local MP.
I never thought this would happen in my lifetime. I expected to be well out of the game before this ever got to anywhere close to this position.
Our Airbnb host said, yeah, you guys made it perfectly timed. He's like, the King's going to be here tomorrow, and we thought he was kidding. It's like, ah!
I said to King Charles, he's not a King Charles Spaniel, but he's a Cocker Spaniel. I was just so honoured and so privileged and so proud that he's come to Barrow to do this for us.
And Ted, what did you think? I think it's playing it cool. Playing it cool. And as the crowds waved goodbye, there was a sense of excitement and of pride about the place they call home. Kelly Foran, BBC North West Tonight.
It was a real red letter day in Barrow, wasn't it? Apologies that there were a couple of glitches in the sound there, I think. Now, the taxi driver who drove the attacker in last summer's Southport stabbings didn't call the police for 50 minutes after dropping him off. But the police officer who led the investigation today told the public inquiry it wouldn't have made any difference to the emergency services response. Evidence was also heard about the actions of the adult running the dance class. Jonas Muller sent this from Liverpool Town Hall.
The Southport inquiry has moved into a new phase with the focus on the attack on the day the 3 schoolgirls were killed in Southport last summer. So we heard evidence from Detective Chief Inspector Jason Pye, who led the investigation on behalf of Merseyside Police. He said analysis of the killer's tablets showed that before he went out that day, he searched for a video of another stabbing carried out by a teenager. He told this inquiry there was also details on his phone of the address of the dance class and that he would have known that young children were taking part. He said that when the killer arrived at the scene, there was first a failed attempt to get in. He then managed to get through in a communal area. He said the precise sequence of the horrific attack which killed B.B. King, Elsie Stancombe and Alice Aguirre couldn't be determined, but it would have been wholly unexpected and started very suddenly and would have been immediately and dreadfully shocking. He also said that CCTV captured the actions of Leanne Lucas, the dance teacher, who, despite being stabbed herself, ushered 3 children to safety, was the first to call 999 and also alerted members of the public, and that was crucial in the police response. But this inquiry also heard of the actions of the taxi driver who had driven the killer to the scene. He was still there when he could hear screams, but he waited 50 minutes before making a 999 call. The inquiry was told he would have been expected morally to have called the emergency services earlier, but calling earlier would not have made any difference to the overall police response. Now, the inquiry today also heard of the online activity of the teenager who carried out the attack. He attempted to buy crossbows, he managed to buy archery equipment and also a number of machetes, one of which was recovered from his home after he killed the 3 schoolgirls. Now, this inquiry will continue tomorrow. Jonas Muller, BBC Northwest Tonight, Liverpool.
And here are some of the other stories that are making headlines in the Northwest tonight. And a British soldier who's accused of murdering a woman in Kenya has been named as Robert Purkis from Greater Manchester. 21-year-old Agnes Wanjiru, whose picture you just saw, her body was found near a British Army base in Kenya after she disappeared in March 2012. Mr Purkis previously served as a medic with the Duke of Lancaster's regiment. Kenyan police have issued a warrant for his arrest with a court hearing due in October. Tributes have been paid to the Oldham-born broadcaster John Stapleton, who died yesterday at the age of 79. He presented a number of BBC and ITV programmes, including Watchdog and GMTV. John campaigned to raise awareness about Parkinson's disease after being diagnosed with it last year.
We were inundated with inquiries to our helpline and our website with people just wanting to know more about the condition, what they could support a loved one with, but also very kindly people donated to the charity. So John really helped us in a huge way and we're so grateful but equally so sad today.
A driver has been arrested after police stopped a car reported to have been driven at up to 160 miles an hour on the M55 in Lancashire. The vehicle was followed from Cumbria, I said 160 miles an hour in case you missed it. Eventually it crashed into a roundabout. A burst water main has caused major flooding, road closures and disruption at Urmston in Greater Manchester. Engineers from United Utilities are working to repair the burst, which has closed 2 roads. Now, there are calls tonight for the government to give better protection to leaseholders after some residents in Oldham have been kept waiting 5 years to get back into their homes. They were told to leave the Victory apartment block in 2020 because work needed to be done to make it safe, and they are still waiting to go back, as Jade Taylorson reports.
For the first time in nearly 5 years, Fawzia Malik can enter her apartment, but she's been told she can't move in just yet.
I never felt once that I am the owner of this flat. They treated us so badly. It's worse situation anybody can imagine. That you have your home, but you can't live.
Residents had been desperately waiting to be told the Victory Apartments can reopen after it was shut by the fire service in November 2020 because of serious fire safety flaws. Works to lift the ban are now complete, and the fire service says people can move back in. But the managing agent Residential Management Group has told leaseholders it recently discovered water leaks in the building, making it uninhabitable until repairs are carried out.
In one point, I given up my hope that they are going to fix the problem. There was no communication, no clear deadline, we even don't know what's going on in the building.
Sarah Servio's parents rented out 2 of the apartments. They, like Fawzia, have been paying RMG thousands of pounds in management fees while it's been shut. She says she's in disbelief there's another issue.
Not being able to know that there's going to be a leak after 5 years when you turn the water back on. You don't even need a GCSE to work that out. I think they could have been a lot more proactive. I think they could have been a lot more professional. And I think they could have been a lot more empathetic.
In a statement, RMG said the fire safety works had been complex and funding had caused delays. It said the leaks were the flat owner's responsibility, and it was carrying out a report as a gesture of goodwill to identify the repairs needed. But the situations led to calls for the government to protect leaseholders from similar delays in future.
They need to have the oversight of what happens in terms of why a building's being decanted, what needs to be done to make sure the residents can move back in.
For now, Fawzia continues to live in student accommodation, where she's been staying for the past 4 years.
And as you see, is a tiny room, and I have to accommodate everything, my clothes, my kitchen things, and I don't have extra storage place. We are very traumatized. Even building is open, there is no joy come from the heart because it's still the leakage is there. We have to wait. I don't know how many months more we have to wait.
Jade Taylorson, BBC Northwest Tonight, Oldham.
Yeah, so the wait for those residents goes on. Right, here are some of the other stories that people are reading this evening from BBC News. And the Isle of Man government has published proposals today to put children at the centre of policy making. The island's young people took part in the consultation. Avanti West Coast trains will use the historic Settle to Carlisle rail line in January. The main line's going to be closed for a while between Preston and Carlisle to allow a bridge to be replaced. And an ex-soldier from Liverpool wants to be the oldest person to do the Explorers Grand Slam. That's reaching the North and South Poles and climbing the world's 7 highest peaks. The latest stage sees 57-year-old Ian Hughes here trek to Antarctica this winter. You can find out more bbc.co.uk/local news or have a look on the BBC News app. Right, a quick race back to the sofa because we've got a big name guest for you now. If I say Bank of Dave and Bank of Dave 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. They've been 2 of the biggest streaming hits of the past few years, and the Netflix films have made Dave Fishwick, who of course founded Burnley Savings and Loans to help people in his community, famous around the world. And now his story is making the move from the small screen to the big stage as Bank of Dave, the musical, gets ready to open. And Dave, I'm delighted to say, is here. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
We've done special
Lovely.
Graphics for you.
Oh, I've got my own tenors.
It's you everywhere. You're a man in demand, aren't you? How did the musical come about?
The musical, 2 years ago, I got a phone call in Burnley, like you do, from Hollywood.
Like you were not for the first time.
And they said, we'd like to make a musical about your life. And I said, well, you better get yourself to Burnley then. And they did.
And that's off the back of the Netflix films,
That's exactly the same thing happened. Piers Ashworth, who writes Mission Impossible for Tom Cruise, rung me and he wanted to make a movie about my life, and that's how that started.
Right.
But yeah, Nikolai Foster, he's the guy that's made it. Matt Williams, who makes all the big movies. Nikolai made Kinky Boots and the Cher musical. And the Steps musical, and then there's Pippa, and there's Rob Madge, who actually did the music for Billy Elliot.
Oh my goodness!
So there's some huge names that wrote this.
So Rory Kinnear plays you in the films.
Yes.
Who's singing for you on stage, or are you doing it yourself?
Well, you know what? I was actually going to ask you tonight. Can you sing?
No. Carry on.
That stops that. We could have had a few bars, a bit of la la la. I'm actually speaking to somebody at the moment that's unbelievable. And I'm so excited I could burst. And I'll have to whisper it in your ear after, Roger.
OK. But it's getting ready to open, so you've already some way down.
Yes, I mean, it took 2 years, cost £2 million to get to where it is. 57 people have been working on it for 2 years.
Wow.
They've got about 18 songs, one of them named The Bank of Dave. And the songs have all been made especially, and it's about northern grit. It's that sort of full Monty type musical. A little bit of Kinky Boots, Leeds type musical, a lot of fun. But I wanted it to open here in the north, Roger.
So, sorry, yes, I said it's going to open. Your tickets are going on sale soon, and when it opens, it will open at the Lowry in Salford.
It's going to open at the Lowry, and when the Lowry came to see it with me, I was so excited, and they said, "We love it, Dave, we want it," you know. And that's when I first thought, do you know what, this is going to be fine, because it's based on the first movie and some of the book. But they've come along and they said, "We want it, Dave." So it's going to be weeks at the Lowry. That's going to open at the very beginning of May.
Next year?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the premiere. I'd love you to come to the premiere like you did with the premieres of the others. And it's just going to be such an exciting time to watch somebody on stage.
And what do you hope to get out of this? Because obviously you started out very much man of the community, helping the community, and I know you still do that, and your bank is still going, but what do you hope all of this achieves?
Well, myself and my right-hand man, David H., and all the team at Burnley Savings and Loans, I mean, we've lent over £40 million out now to thousands of people and businesses who can't borrow money from the High Street Bank. We do mortgages all over the country now. The next couple of years we'll have done maybe £400 or £500 million worth of mortgages for people who are really struggling. So we do what it says on the tin. We've helped people get the best rate of interest. We've lent over 40 million of our own money out. And the profit we give to charity after it's the overheads are paid. But what do I get? That's a really good question, is that? Because for 15 years, I got into telly 15 years ago, and we did documentaries first, then into live television, and then books, and then movies, and then musicals. And what do I do next? It's a really good question.
Well, I'm sure we'll watch this space. Burnley Football Club, of course, you're...
Oh, we love Burnley Centre View. And to be honest,
so you hand over to Ian, because hopefully he'll mention.
Well, I was looking just across from the Lowry, and Man United's there, and I'm thinking if we get too many people that we can't fit them all in the Lowry, we can open the windows and sit a few in Man United.
There you go.
Ian, that's over to you for football.
Well, you can always bank on me to talk about the Premier League and Burnley as well, but they are last tonight, as they often are on Match of the Day. Traditionally over the years, sadly enough. We'll start with the Merseyside derby. Everton manager David Moyes spoke last week about his poor record against Liverpool, and that continued at the weekend as his side were beaten 2-1. Which night, Manchester City play Huddersfield, having drawn yesterday at Arsenal. Erling Haaland brilliantly put them ahead, only for Arsenal to equalise in injury time. Manchester United got a rain-soaked 2-1 win over Chelsea. Casemiro with the second goal. Burnley, Dave's team, here they are, came from behind to draw 1-1 at home to Nottingham Forest. They too are in League Cup action against Cardiff tomorrow. There's a little hooray there. The EFL season's really kicking into gear now. Many teams starting to show their true potential, or maybe even lack of it, 8 or 9 games in. But though it's one thing being beaten by the better team, it's another thing altogether being beaten by the weather.
Blackburn Rovers haven't won at home this season, though Todd Cantwell's penalty could have changed that. But amid relentless rain, the referee abandoned the game 10 minutes from time. A decision on whether it will be replayed in full will be made by the EFL board. No such problems for Preston North End, though. 5th in the Championship after a first away win, Alfie Devine getting the only goal at Derby.
People thought they might struggle. If you'd have asked a lot of North End fans at the start of the season, would they have taken being where they are in the league right now? 100% they would have done.
On Friday, we featured 100-year-old Bolton Wanderers supporter Derek Lee, who then got the VIP treatment with chairman Sharon Britton ahead of the League One derby with Wigan Athletic. And what a day for Derek, as sensational Wanderers won 4-1, Mason Burstow again among the goals.
It was a terrific all-round performance. I think the head coach, Stephen Schumacher, was very fair and reasonable in his assessment after the game. Clinical and ruthless. I've got to say, it helped by a very below par Wigan Athletic. I would be very, very surprised if Wanderers aren't seriously challenging for promotion come the end of the season.
Stockport County also won, with Kyle Wotton scoring their winner at Rotherham. Blackpool, meanwhile, a third bottom, but got a much-needed win over Barnsley, thanks to Jordan Brown's late decider.
The season can really start now for Steve Bruce and his team, because now they've got that first win so late in the day, and the drama that it was. The hope is that everything can start turning in the right direction now.
In League Two, Salford City are up to second after an impressive 3-2 win over Swindon, while Isaac Fletcher's goal won it for Barrow against Crewe Alexandra on his manager's birthday. Will Sutton put Oldham Athletic on their way to a 3-0 win at Cheltenham, their third victory in a row. Elsewhere, it's now back-to-back wins for Accrington Stanley, as Charlie Caton sealed a 2-1 win at MK Dons. But there were defeats for Tranmere Rovers, who lost at Walsall, and Fleetwood Town were beaten at Cambridge as they dropped to 15th in the table.
There was some really sad news over the weekend with the death of the former Liverpool women's manager Matt Beard at the age of 47. Liverpool's game at Aston Villa was postponed, with a minute's silence at the start of all yesterday's WSL games, as well as many tributes. Matt Beard led Liverpool to 2 WSL titles and more recently managed Burnley. Results-wise, Manchester City won, Everton lost, while Manchester United here drew 0-0 at home to Arsenal. United are second in the table. The World Athletics Championships ended in hard-earned bronze medals for 2 Northwest superstars. Liverpool's Katarina Johnson-Thompson's performance in the last event of the heptathlon saw her tie with the American Talia Brooks, meaning they became the first heptathletes to split a world medal. Look at the surprise there. Meanwhile, having fought back from long-term injury, Atherton's Olympic champion Keely Hodgkinson battled her way to bronze in the 800 metres behind her training partner Georgia Hunter-Bell. Having already won the T20 Women's County Cup this year, Lancashire women completed a trophy double yesterday by winning the inaugural Metrobank One-Day Cup final over Hampshire. Gabby Lewis made an unbeaten century, with the winning runs coming from Ailsa Lister. How good's that? But sadly, it wasn't to be for Staley Cricket Club, who you might remember we featured last week in the Village Cup final at the home of cricket, Lords. They lost to cup holders Foxton Granter from Cambridgeshire, but what an achievement for Staley to reach the final, Rog. They're all still winners in my eyes, as are you.
They did very well. Ian, thank you very much indeed. Right, it is not uncommon for people who love walking to decide to climb all 214 of the Wainwright Peaks in the Lake District. But it's not often that people start doing it after a terminal cancer diagnosis. But that is exactly what Ian Teasdale has been doing, calling it his Terminal Illness Challenge. And he's doing it to raise money to try to open a Maggie's Cancer Support Centre in Cumbria, as Ed Hanson reports.
Hello there, I'm Ian Teasdale. I'm Cumbrian born and bred, brought up in Espatria, and I'm 65. We thought, well, wouldn't it be good to climb all of the Lake District hills? And then I came up with the name Terminal Illness, and once I thought of that, it was just a dead cert. I had to do it. This will be 147. We're going to climb Binser today. The key thing about cancer, I say it throws you upside down, and the key thing to realise is that it doesn't change who you are fundamentally. I'm still me, but with C, and the real me likes going up mountains. And I was aware that there was this charity called Maggie's who run support centres. It was just what was required, and it sort of set me on the road to healing inside about it all. It felt like a warm hug from somebody who understood. One day I thought, yeah, let's get Maggie's to Cumbria. Let's have a permanent cancer support base in Cumbria. Maybe I should raise some money as well. That would give you more of a shout.
My name is Catherine Weatherfield. I'm married to Ian Teasdale, and we're doing our Terminal Illness project together. I did make a rule that we had to do the Wainwrights on nice days. I take all the photographs that we post on Instagram. I'm the one on the hill who will slow us down. Ian might be the one with the stage 4 cancer, but he's like a mountain goat on the hill.
There's also an intensity when you know that you have terminal illness. Everything seems beautiful, everything seems rich and intensely. Yeah.
The way that we're doing it now, it's just a shared experience, so it's good. It's good in a marriage to do something like that.
The project's become a really important part of my life. It's reframed by cancer, so it's helping me to cope with the diagnosis. Everybody's different and everybody needs different things, but for me this really, really helps.
We wish Ian all the very best as he ticks off the rest of the Wainwrights on his list. We saw some nice clouds in the sky there in Ed's report. That was Ed Hansen in the Lake District for us. I wonder what the forecast is looking like. Let's find out from Paul.
Good evening. It is the autumn equinox, so essentially the hours of darkness start to outweigh the hours of daylight. But the weather's pretty settled at the minute because we've got high pressure in charge. That's keeping things largely dry to start the week, and even over the next few days that will continue to dominate. So we head into this evening with a lot of dry weather. Just 1 or 2 showers brushing near the coast there, but most places dry and lengthy clear spells through the night. Light winds combine to give 1 or 2 mist or fog patches and some pretty cool temperatures down to 2 or 3 Celsius in 1 or 2 spots, maybe even a touch of ground frost here and there. As we head into tomorrow morning, so any early mistiness will lift and clear. Plenty of sunshine for most through the course of the morning. A little bit of clouds spilling in as we head into the afternoon, but essentially it stays dry and bright right through the day. And we're looking at temperatures peaking around about 16 degrees Celsius tomorrow. That's 61 Fahrenheit with fairly light winds, albeit from a cool northerly direction. As we head into Wednesday, in essence it's more of the same, perhaps a little bit more cloud around at times, but it stays essentially fine and dry. The winds are very light, they're beginning to change direction as well, so temperatures just start to creep up, highs around 17 Celsius, which is 63 Fahrenheit. So as we head through the middle and latter part of the week, the high pressure shifts away eastwards. We start to pick in a slightly milder southeasterly breeze. Things stay mostly dry as we head towards the end of the working week, but by the weekend this weather front will be making its presence felt. So as we head through the next few days, a lot of fine dry weather as we head towards the end of the working week. Temperatures are shade up. A few showers though by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Did you spot the name on the weather map? The new name on the weather map this week is Sam Batch. Peter emailed me a couple of weeks ago, suggested sometimes it gets overlooked and never gets on the map, and it deserved recognition. So, Peter, that one's for you. Thank you very much for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.